First up, let's talk about the 1965 no-mint Mark Washington quarter that is said to be worth $80,000. Most people would think, how can a quarter from 1965 be worth that much? Let's break it down in a very simple way. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a big change. Before that year, quarters and dimes were made out of 90% silver. But silver became too expensive. So the government passed a new law called the Coinage Act of 1965. This law said that silver would no longer be used in most coins. Starting that year, quarters were made from a cheaper mix of metals called copper-nickel clad. This new type of coin looked almost the same as the old silver one, but it was made from different materials. It also felt a little lighter. The Philadelphia Mint made over 1.8 billion of these new quarters in 1965. That's a lot of coins. Most of them are still around today. They are very common and only worth 25 cents. But here's where it gets interesting. When the mint was switching from silver to copper-nickel, a small mistake happened. Some old silver blanks, also called silver planchets, were still left in the machines. A planchet is just the flat metal piece that gets stamped to become a coin. A few of these leftover silver blanks were used by accident when making the new 1965 quarters. That means some 1965 quarters were made out of silver instead of the new copper-nickel. That's a huge mistake, and a lucky one for collectors. These special 1965 silver quarters are now very rare. Most people didn't know the difference, so they spent them like normal. They stayed hidden in jars, drawers, and pockets for years. Today, collectors are looking for them, and they are willing to pay a lot of money, up to $80,000, for one in perfect shape. So how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is one of the rare silver ones? There are a few simple things to look for. 1. Check the edge of the coin. A regular 1965 quarter made of copper-nickel will have a brownish or orange line on the edge. That's the copper core showing. But a silver quarter has a solid silver edge, with no copper line. That's one big clue. 2. Look at the color. Silver coins have a smooth, shiny silver look. Copper-nickel coins look duller or grayer. 3. Weigh the coin. This is super helpful. A silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams. A copper-nickel quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. That small difference matters. If you have a digital kitchen scale that shows grams, try weighing your coin. If it's closer to 6.25 grams, it could be silver. If your coin looks and feels different, don't spend it. You might have something rare. The best thing to do is take it to a coin shop or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. These companies can check the coin, grade its condition, and tell you if it's real silver. They will also seal it in a case to protect it and show the grade. Coins with higher grades are worth more. Some silver 1965 quarters have sold for $5,000, $7,000, or even $8,400. The best ones, those with super high grades and perfect looks, have been valued at $80,000. That's amazing for a coin that looks just like the one in your pocket. This shows how a small mistake at the U.S. Mint can make a coin super rare and super valuable. Even though the silver 1965 quarter looks almost the same as the regular one, what it's made of makes a huge difference. You don't need to be a coin expert to find one. Just check your change jars, old coin rolls, or coins you've saved from parents or grandparents. A lot of people have these coins sitting at home and don't even know it. So if you find a 1965 quarter, don't ignore it. Look at the edge, weigh it, and maybe, just maybe, you've got a special one. That 25-cent coin could turn into thousands of dollars. Keep looking, because rare coins like this are still out there. Let's talk about a normal-looking coin that might make you rich. The 1967 no-mint Mark Washington quarter. It looks like pocket change, right? But guess what? One of these sold for $35,000. How is that even possible? Here's the twist. In 1967, quarters were not made of silver anymore. A few years earlier, the U.S. Mint switched from 90% silver to a cheaper metal called copper-nickel. Silver was just too expensive. So, from 1965 to 1967, no quarters had mint marks. No D, no S. Just plain coins, no clues where they came from. The mint made a ton of them. Over 1.5 billion quarters were made in 1967. So, most of them are super common. Worth 25 cents. Nothing more. But, not all of them. Some 1,967 quarters have errors, and some are in perfect condition. And that's where the money is. One rare error is when a 1967 quarter was struck on the wrong coin blank. For example, some were made using blanks meant for dimes or even foreign coins. That means the quarter is smaller, lighter, or looks totally off. These weird ones are rare, and worth thousands. Another big error is the double die. That's when the coin gets stamped twice by mistake. It makes the letters and numbers look like they're doubled or blurry. If you ever spot that, hold on tight. That's collector gold. And then, there are the mint state coins. That means they were never used, never scratched, and look brand new. These coins are graded from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 67 or higher is super rare for 1967. Why? Because almost no one saved 1967 quarters. They were used, spent, dropped, lost, and worn out. So if someone saved one straight from the mint, and kept it clean, it's special. Some of these top-grade coins have sold for $2,000, $7,000, and even $35,000. All for a coin most people would never notice. Now you're thinking, how do I find one? Here's what to do. 1. Look closely at the date, 1967. No mint mark is normal. But that's the year to check. 2. Check the coin's condition. Does it look shiny, sharp, and almost perfect? No scratches. That's a good sign. 3. Look for errors. Check the letters and numbers. Any doubling? Weird shapes? Off-center strike? That's a possible error coin. 4. Weigh it. A regular 1967 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it weighs less or more, it could be a mistake coin made on the wrong blank. If anything seems off, don't spend it. Instead, take it to a coin shop, or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They can grade your coin and confirm if it's rare. And once it's graded, the value goes way up. These grading companies are trusted by collectors. They seal the coin in a case, give it a grade, and now your coin is ready for auction, or display. What's wild is that people have found these coins in old jars, pocket change, and even couch cushions. Most people don't check. But now, you know what to look for. So, imagine this. You're holding a plain old quarter. But wait, it's perfect. Or it has a weird error. You check it. You weigh it. And boom, it's worth more than your rent. That's the twist. A small coin from 1967, one that looks just like the rest, could be worth thousands, even $35,000, if you get lucky. So don't skip your change. Look at every 1967 quarter you find. Twist your luck. One small mistake by the US Mint could be your jackpot. Let's talk about a coin that everyone has seen, but almost no one knows could be worth $350,000. It's the 1976 bicentennial quarter, the one with the drummer boy on the back. Looks cool, right? But here's the twist, some of these coins are hiding a secret. A very expensive one. In 1976, the US was turning 200 years old. Big deal. So the mint made special coins to celebrate, quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins. They all got brand new designs. The quarter didn't show the usual eagle. Instead, it had a colonial drummer and said 1776 to 1976 on the front to honor America's birthday. These coins were made in huge numbers. Billions. So most people think they're common, and they're right. Most are worth just 25 cents. But not all of them. Here's where it gets wild. Some bicentennial quarters were made from 40% silver. These were special versions made for collectors and were never meant for regular use. But somehow, a few ended up in the wild. If you find one, it might be worth more than lunch money. But we're not just talking silver here. The real jackpot is in errors and perfect coins. One of these rare quarters had a double die error, meaning the coin was stamped twice by mistake. The letters and numbers look fuzzy or doubled. That single error coin struck on a silver planchet and in top condition, sold for a jaw-dropping $350,000. Yes, you read that right. A quarter, worth more than a house. So how do you know if your 1976 quarter is one of the rare ones? Start with the date. It should say 1776 to 1976. That means it's a bicentennial coin. Next, check the edge. If there's no copper line and it looks silver all the way around, it could be one of the 40% silver versions. Then, weigh it. A regular quarter is 5.67 grams. A silver one is a little heavier, about 5.75 grams. It's a small difference, but a good clue. Now, look close at the coin. Are the letters or numbers doubled? Do they look thick or blurry? That could be a double die error, one of the big money signs. Also, check the condition. If your quarter looks brand new, no scratches, no marks, super shiny, it might be in mint state. That can push the value even higher. If your coin checks any of these boxes, don't spend it. Don't clean it. And definitely don't toss it in a jar. Take it to a coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if it's the real deal, and how rare it is. Coins that get graded and sealed can sell for big bucks, and collectors trust them. People have found these quarters in old coffee cans, in bank rolls, even in spare change from the store. Most people don't look. But now, you know what to watch for. The bicentennial quarter is one of the most loved coins in U.S. history. But only a few have the right mix of error, silver, and perfect shape to be worth a fortune. So next time you see that drummer boy in your change, give it a second look. It might be just another quarter, or it might be worth hundreds of thousands. That's the twist. Let's talk about the 1971 no-mint Mark Washington quarter. This coin looks like any normal quarter you might find in your pocket or a jar. But some versions of this quarter are actually worth up to $15,000. That sounds surprising because usually, quarters from 1971 are worth just 25 cents. So what makes these special quarters so valuable? In 1971, quarters were made in two places, Denver and Philadelphia. Quarters from Denver have a small, D, mint mark, but the ones made in Philadelphia usually don't have any mint mark at all. That's why we call these, no mint mark, quarters. Both mints produced quarters made of copper and nickel. These were different from older quarters, which were made mostly of silver. The 1971 quarters have the usual design with George Washington's face on the front, and an eagle on the back. Even though millions of these quarters were made, some very rare mistakes happened during the coin-making process. These mistakes are what make certain 1971 no-mint mark quarters so valuable to collectors. One type of mistake is called a double die. This means that the design on the coin was accidentally stamped twice, but slightly off from each other. Because of this, some parts of the design look doubled or blurry. For example, the date, 1971, or the word, Liberty, might look like they have shadows or copies behind them. These double die coins are very rare and collectors pay a lot for them. Another rare error is called an off-center strike. This happens when the metal blank, called a planchet, is not lined up properly in the machine. The coin gets stamped, but part of the design is missing because it was off to the side. You might see only half or less of George Washington's face, or the date might be cut off. These off-center coins are unusual and can be worth a lot, especially if the error is very large and the coin is in good condition. There are even some coins called mules. A mule error is when a coin has the front design from one type of coin and the back design from another type. For example, a 1971 quarter might have the front of a quarter but the back of a dime or another coin by mistake. These errors are extremely rare and very valuable. While most 1971 no-mint mark quarters you find in your change are just regular coins, the rare error coins like double dies, off-center strikes, and mules are the ones that can sell for up to $15,000. But to get that kind of money, the coin usually has to be in very good shape and must be certified by a professional grading service. These services check the coin to make sure it is real and grade its condition. Collectors really want these error coins because they are unusual and interesting. Coins with mistakes are like little stories frozen in metal. They show how even machines can make surprising errors that turn ordinary coins into valuable treasures. If you find a 1971 quarter with no mint mark and think it might be special, look carefully. Check if the date or letters look doubled. Look to see if the design is off-center or cut off. And check if the coin looks like it might have the wrong back or front compared to normal quarters. Don't clean the coin or try to fix it, because cleaning can lower its value. Instead, take it to a coin dealer or send it to a grading company. They can tell you if your coin is an error and what it might be worth. Many collectors search for these rare coins in old jars, coin rolls, or collections passed down from family members. Sometimes, a lucky person finds one by chance and doesn't even know how valuable it is. So, while most 1971 no-mint mark quarters are just regular coins, some very rare errors can be worth thousands of dollars. It pays to look closely at your coins because you might be holding a valuable piece of history without even knowing it. Next time you get a quarter from 1971 with no mint mark, take a moment to check it carefully. That small coin might be hiding a big surprise. Let's talk about the 1991 D Washington quarter. At first, it looks like any other quarter you've seen, George Washington on the front, the eagle on the back. These quarters were made in Denver, which is why they have a small D mint mark. By 1991, the U.S. Mint always added mint marks to show where coins were made. Most 1991 D quarters are very common and worth just 25 cents. But some of them can be worth as much as $10,000. Yes, you heard that, right? Let me explain how. In 1991, the mint was very careful about making coins. They had strict quality control to stop mistakes. But even with this care, some rare errors still happened. These errors make certain coins very special to collectors. One type of error is called a die pairing anomaly. This means the tools used to stamp the coin had a mistake or a mismatch. The die is like a stamp that presses the design onto the coin. Sometimes, the wrong die front or back was used, or the die was damaged. This caused coins with strange or doubled images. These mistakes are very rare and interesting. Another error is called an off-center strike. This means the coin was not lined up properly when it was stamped. Part of the design might be missing or cut off. For example, you might see only half of George Washington's face or a missing part of the eagle on the back. These off-center coins are rare, and collectors pay good money for them. There are also mule coins. Mules happen when the front and back of a coin don't match. For example, a quarter might have the front of a 1991 D quarter but the back of a different coin, like a dime or a nickel. These errors happen when the wrong dies are used together. Mules are very unusual and can be worth a lot. Even though these errors are rare, most 1991 D quarters you find are normal and worth just their face value. But if you find one with a bold error, it can be very valuable. How do you know if your 1991 D quarter might be special? Look closely at the coin. Check if the design looks off or if part of it is missing. See if the date or letters look doubled or blurry. Look at the back and front, do they match, or do they look strange? Weigh it if you can, sometimes error coins feel different. If your coin looks unusual, don't clean it or change it. Cleaning can lower its value. Instead, take it to a coin expert or send it to a grading company. These experts will check the coin, confirm if it's an error, and give it a grade based on its condition. The condition matters a lot. Coins in better condition are worth more. A coin graded MS67 or higher means it looks almost perfect, with no scratches or marks. A 1991 D quarter with a big error and a high grade can sell for up to $10,000. Many people find these rare error coins by chance, in old coin jars, collections from family members, or rolls of coins from banks. Some collectors spend years searching for errors like these because they are so rare and interesting. Even though the 1991 D quarter looks normal, some special ones are real treasures. They tell a story about how even modern machines can make mistakes, and how those mistakes can turn a simple coin into something very valuable. Next time you have a 1991 D quarter, take a close look. It might look like ordinary change, but it could hide a valuable error. If you find one, you might be holding a little piece of rare history that collectors will pay a lot to own. So there you have it, the top 5 rare Washington quarters that can be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. From the surprising 1965 no-mint mark quarter accidentally made with silver, to the stunning 1976 bicentennial quarter worth a fortune, each coin has its own unique story and special mistake that makes it valuable. The 1971 no-mint mark quarter with rare double dies and off-center strikes, and the 1991 D with modern errors, show us that even recent coins can be treasures if they have the right errors. These coins remind us to always check our change carefully, because sometimes, what looks like just a simple quarter could be a hidden gem worth a lot more than you think. Keep an eye out and happy coin hunting.